Good evening, friends, and welcome to the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living. It's a Tuesday evening, and it's time for our Spiritual Mind Healing Service. I am practitioner Sandra Cooper, and it is my pleasure to be your host this evening. We want to take a few minutes to just become centered and to just go within to that quiet place where we know that we commune with the divine, and just allow the activities of today to just drift away. And as we are sitting, let's just take a deep centering breath. Let's inhale once more. And exhale. And as we breathe in, let's just know that this breath is a breath of life. And as we fill our lungs to capacity and exhale, let's just know that the circulation of this breath is energizing and every cell and fiber of our being. We know that it is a life force that vibrates in every cell. And so let's just allow this sense of the breath in and out to just focus our attention within. As we become more and more attuned to the presence of life within us. Just for a few moments, just rest in the rhythm of the breath as we fully embrace our aliveness. What a joy it is to sit in quiet repose. Just allow the presence of spirit to just be within every part of our being. And so as we breathe in once more, exhale. Just know with me now that which is the breath, that breath of life, that which energizes every cell and fiber of our being. We know this as the one life, the one presence, the one power that is God. We know that this is a life that energizes us, supports us, and it is a life that brought us here this evening to this spiritual mind healing service. I know that everyone who comes, everyone who is present on this Zoom platform, on our YouTube platform, is here by divine appointment. I know that everyone is open and receptive to the words that are spoken. I know that we are fully present and we are able to understand and get a deeper sense of who we are as a message touches us where we need to be touched, opens our consciousness where it needs to be opened, and brings the lessons that need to be learned. We truly are grateful for this gathering together. And we know that in a spirit of oneness and in the spirit of gratitude, I now release these words to that law which makes them come to the fullest realization as this experience called a spiritual mind healing service. I truly rejoice that all this is so new, and so it is. Oh, welcome everyone. It's good to see everyone here. Thank you so much for joining us. And I would like to just share a brief message with you this evening. And my question to you this evening is, who's holding your knife? When I was a child, I would hear people say things like, oh, the knife cut me. Or, you know, the stone make me trip. And as a young adult, some of you may be present to this, some of you who may be, you know, same age as me or perhaps a little older. I remember a story about there's a tree on the Stony Hill Road near to, you know, the Red Gallery. And there was a famous club right at the corner of that infamous, you know, Red Gallery space. Can you remember, anybody can remind me of the name of the club? Was it the club right at the corner of Red Gallery? Carol, that was Peyton Place. Thank you, Steve. So when people left that club at 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe under what we call a little juice, they would come tearing down the hill. And it was almost inevitable that the said, you know, the said tree that was at a certain spot on that Stony Hill Road, right? At just as the moment as they would come down that road, that tree would saunter out into the road, or so it was said. But those that survived this unexpected end to a great evening of partying, they would explain their accident by saying, you know, the car lick up in the tree. Or, you know, the tree just walk out into the road and lick the car. Steve, did you ever hear of that story?
I know of the accidents. I don't remember the story.
You know about the tree?
I know about the tree, and I know that there were many accidents, but I'd never heard about the tree coming out into the road. I know it's a tree. Is the tree make it? But it's not.
It's the tree make it. So all this had me thinking back then that some of us were just very bad lucky when these things happened to us. However, as I've come to know better, I now understand that nothing happens to us that doesn't first happen through us. So, you know, this evening, as I said, I want us to have a quick chat around the question, who is holding your knife? So when we say things like, you know, the knife cut me, we are at effect. It is as if we are victims of circumstance. On the other hand, when we say, I cut myself, we are at cause and in a space where we are being responsible and accountable for our own lives. So, one could say, I really should not have been driving under the influence, right? And so, took the corner a little too sharp and I crashed the car. And that is being at cause. So being at cause means that you are the creator of your life. It means you take responsibility for what is working and what is not working in your personal universe. So I was careless when I held the knife and I cut myself. Being at effect, on the other hand, means that what happens or doesn't happen in your life is the result of other people, events, or circumstances. So in effect, the knife cut me. People that are decisive at creating the life they desire live life as the cause or at the cause side of the equation. They see the world as a place of infinite opportunities and possibilities. They focus on results rather than excuses, and they move towards what they want. It's very easy for us to take pride in our achievements and brag about what we have accomplished. I worked hard and this is something that I put a lot of effort in, and I'm just reaping the fruits of my effort and my labor. But things don't go quite our way. When things don't go our way, we immediately tend to point the finger at someone or something outside of ourselves. People that tend to blame other people or circumstances for the poor outcomes, they live life at the effect side. They have an excuse for everything that has gone wrong in their lives. They often feel powerless and depend on others for their happiness and achievements. So living at effect sounds something like this. I can't make any money. I can't generate any business because, the economy is just so bad right now. Now is not a good time. Or, my alarm didn't go off this morning and that's why I'm late. Or, the dog peed in the house because you forgot to take him out for a walk. So anytime you try to justify why something didn't happen because of X, Y, or Z, think that you're putting yourself at the effect side of the equation. Now, living at cause is living life from a position of power and authority. If we are made in the image and likeness of God, excuse me, and if we embody within ourselves the divine presence and power of the divine, then we have that power to guide us in our actions and in all circumstances. And so we are able to take charge. We can make responsible choices and we can cause things to happen. That's what being at cause means, and accept responsibility for the outcomes. There's an understanding, for example, and accepting of why something didn't quite go as planned and learning from the process. So in my own life, I am a very structured person. And so, yes, I will plan. But one of the things I do is that after the plan, I come back present. And, when I come present, then I live from the space of now. But there are times when my plans don't quite go according to plan. And, I have a choice at that point. I can decide if I'm going to complain and wallow in, geez, I have to put so much effort in this. Excuse me, it did not go according to plan. Or I can say, it's unfolding as it should. And perhaps there's something for me to learn from this experience. So there are some questions when you're living at cause. There are some questions you can ask yourself. Questions like, something happens and you can ask, so how did I contribute to this situation? Or you can ask, what could I have done differently to have generated a different outcome? Or another question is, okay, this seems to be a situation of that perhaps is causing a little discomfort. What can I learn from it? I talked earlier about choice, and that power of choice that we have has a lot to do with whether or not we put ourselves at cause or at effect. Everything we do, friends, is a choice. Our life at this very moment is a series of choices we have made up to this point in our lives. The very fact that you are sitting listening to this presentation is a choice. And so here's an equation now that I'm going to suggest to you. Excuse me. So consider that whenever we make responsible choices, those responsible choices are going to bring win-win outcomes. And those that particular choice will is based on 3 questions. The first is this situation good for me? In other words, is it going to bring my greatest good? The second thing, is it good for others? In other words, if I make a choice to do something, is it going to benefit and allow other people to experience, joy and goodness and so on? And the third thing is, this is a bigger question. Is this good for the planet? The choice to buy plastic. That's a choice. Is this good for me? Yes, it is convenient. Is it good for others? Well, I don't know, but people buying plastic, it's maybe convenient for them. But is it good for the planet? We're getting to see now the value of plastic and how it is affecting our wildlife, our sea, the animals in the sea, and really causing some serious challenges. So the answer to those 3 questions, is it good for me? Is it good for others? Is it good for the planet? If the answers to all 3 is yes, then you have made a responsible choice. On the other hand, if you're saying no, for any of them, or if you say, I can't do this because, that is coming from a space where perhaps the choice might not be so responsible, right? So just to say a little further, when you say, I can't do this because, that is a mindset of an individual who is living on the side of effect. I can't because, being a victim of circumstances, of being a victim of people, being a victim of situations, and we're living at effect. And that means having things happen to you. You become the victim of circumstances, as we said, and other people. And you look outside of yourself for someone or something external to blame. And, when you live at effect, you experience fear and powerlessness and helplessness. I can't because. And thus you leave things to chance rather than being in control. Okay? Opportunities will come, and they become obstacles, and obstacles become excuses for why something didn't happen. So for me, when I understood this concept, it was perhaps the greatest lesson I've learned up to this point in my life. And it was very freeing for me as well, because when I get that I run things don't run me, it puts me in the driver's seat, and I have the power of choice to determine what I do and what I make happen in my life. So being at cause enables you to live your life from a place of immense power. And so remember, friends, that you are in charge of your life. And while you are not in control over anything outside of yourself, you do have control over the one thing that will absolutely cause you to be in control, and that is your mind. You are in control of the thoughts you think, the attitudes you assume, and your perspective on things, how you see things. So remember that you are the very essence of spirit. That's a powerful place to be, a powerful belief to have. I am the essence of spirit, the very essence of spirit. Life is expressing as me. In our meditation, when you took a deep breath, you're inhaling the breath of life. That breath of life sustains us. That breath of life allows us to live on this plane of existence. All right, so life is expressing as me and you and every person that is alive on this planet. So whatever you might be facing in any moment of your life, just know that you have the strength and the courage to deal with it, because that strength and courage is God expressing in and through and as you. And that puts you squarely in the driver's seat and definitely holding the handle of the knife that is your life. So I will leave you to consider this question. Where in your life, and you might want to write it down if you so choose, where in your life do you need to take hold of the handle of the knife and start being at cause? Let me say it again. Where in your life do you need to take hold of the handle of your life and start being at cause? It's a question that will really generate some interesting responses. Okay, namaste. Okay. So, food for thought. Where in your life do you need to hold the handle a little bit more and be at cause?
Sandy, this talk is just for me, because today I was explaining to somebody that I am just helping these people, and every time it reaches a stage, it don't work, and I'm saying to her, I'm getting frustrated, it has to be me. And she said to me, say, you need to have it more balanced, you're giving too much. So I said, can you give too much? She said, yes, you're giving too much. So like it is in the real estate. Like people come to you and they ask you advice and you give them and you're working with them. And then you say to them, say, if there's a listing, you still can do me because we co-broke. And then like in the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks, 3 people that I've been working with, something worked out for them and they didn't come to me. So I was saying to my friend today, I'm so frustrated. And her response was, you are giving too much empathy. You must be more business-like instead of, going through everything and sympathizing with them and something. She said other people out there doing the opposite and getting through. So I think you're tough, but it has to be cause. It has to be me. But I just want to share that with you.
So as I'm hearing, I'm hearing some background sound.
I don't know, maybe it's the road because I have nothing on in my house.
Okay.
I'm alone in their house.
So I'm thinking that if I do my utmost to help a person, that's my choice. And I don't have any control over what you do. And it will bring me great joy to use my knowledge and skills in my profession, which is what I'm hearing you say, to help these persons. Now, if they choose to go off somewhere else, that's their choice. But I would rest in the assurance that you are doing the best you can. Maybe you can choose differently, moving it, as you move on. To say, how can I help? But at the same time, help in a way that brings the relationship to an end where they purchase from me. This is what I'm hearing, right, Yvonne?
Yeah, it's something like that, You say to them up front, okay, if it's not my listing, we still co-broke. That's what co-broke is about. And then they call but they will call, and always say, well, I heard about something, it wasn't on blah, 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 blah. But I felt a little frustrated, which I don't do often today. So I actually was sharing it with a friend.
Yeah, people have a right to fish. People are looking and they want to get the best deal and in the best way. So that's their prerogative, right? You're doing the right thing in the right way, and the benefit will come to you, perhaps not from them, but from a different channel. Okay, Carol. Thank you for that, Yvonne. Carol?
Just in listening to Yvonne just now, Yvonne, I've heard you say so many times that, you know, the money is not important to you. So maybe that's a shift that you could make in approaching business.
Yes, Carol.
You know, you want to make money with,
of course,
yes, the property. Right.
Well, Reverend Michelle class is teaching me that, you know.
Yes.
yes.
You know, maybe that's something that you should don't affirm that.
Yes.
Trust me, that is my lesson too. You know, stop affirming money not important. Money is important. It's a business that you're doing.
That is it, Carol. Thanks for that.
Be appropriately compensated.
Spot on. Carol is spot on, Yvonne. You see, you have spoken your word around the money. So you do all of what you do, but because you have said to the universe, the money is not important to me. The persons are channeled to elsewhere, so the money doesn't come to you. You're just getting what you ask for. So that has been it up to now. So now that you know better, you will have a shift in consciousness.
Sure.
That this is what I do. I do it well, and I deserve to be paid royally for it. Full stop.
Amen.
Yes. Yes, Carol. You and I.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Yvonne. Who else would like to share? You know, are you at cause in making your life happen, or are you at effect? And some of us who are supposed practitioners of truth have to ask that question too, you know, because we can speak very loftily in a forum like this, but then what's happening in our life? What's happening in our business? What's happening in our relationship? What's happening in our health? Are we at cause? Are we really living this science of mind teaching?
Guilty, Miranda.
Say a little more, my beloved.
It has been said, you know, it has been said between Carol and Yvonne, you know, there is that attitude of doing for others and letting the remuneration fall where it may, you know, and treating it with scant regard. And that is definitely something to be worked on.
So, yeah, and I really get what both you and Yvonne and perhaps Carol are saying, that because I give away my time and effort. I coach people for free all the time. But there's a balance that I believe I bring. Because like I'm negotiating with a client today and they've asked me to do a specific job for them. And, you know, they come back today and they say, yes, you know, but we need to also do this and also do that and also do the other. And a part of me is saying, yeah, you know, okay. But then it dawns on me that this is changing the scope of work. And so I said so to them. This is changing the scope of work, so I'm going to have to also revisit the proposal and the cost. And I said, okay. Now, if I didn't open my mouth, I would have gone through with the original proposal with the additional work. And, you know, it wouldn't have been, it's like I'm at effect. You know, they're asking me to do this extra work and I say, okay, and I'm at effect. Now I'm at cause by saying it is changing the scope of work. And I didn't say this to them, but I deserve to be paid for the work I'm doing. You know, Carol?
That is so true. And too often, well, we all know the story go. But what I've started to do now is to set myself a limit as to each month, how much of my time do I give away? And when we pass that limit, then you have to pay. You have to pay me because I deserve to be paid for my time. I deserve to be paid for my service. I deserve to be paid for my talents. And I'm tempted to say it's non-negotiable at that point. It's not negotiable. It's non-negotiable in terms of my deservedness. The amount of money I get paid might be negotiable, but my deservedness is not.
I love that.
Makes sense to you.
I really, really love that, Carol. My money is
That is a
negotiable,
big,
but
that's
my
a big,
deservedness is
that's
not.
a big affirmation. My deservedness is non-negotiable. I love it.
I love the word, my deservedness.
Yes, and that is at the root of a lot of the angst that we feel, because we want to be paid for it, but there's this niggling thing at the back of our minds that is guilting us into not charging for it, because, you know, one is, oh, you know, it's not spiritual to charge. Two is my friend. Three, you know, oh, they don't have the money. Why is that my concern? My deservedness is non-negotiable.
So when we put ourselves at cause, in my mind, we're going to attract the clients who pay.
Exactly.
And if somebody else shows up that is in need, I ain't gonna turn them down. I mean, you know, I do a lot of pro bono work. I mean, the work I'm doing for, there's a client I work with, and the work that they're doing, even though it's a big corporate giant, they have this altruistic program that they are running across the island. That's perhaps one of the reasons I wasn't at church on Sunday. I was doing work for them in Mandeville. And what I get paid is a stipend. Now, if I were to be doing work for the company, I'd be I'd be charging at my regular daily rate. But in this case, because we're looking at a program that is benefiting the country and poor people in the country, I am comfortable with the stipend, knowing that this is just part of how I share my service and my talent, and it will come back to me in awesome ways. So it's where I guess we find that sweet spot, where wisdom tells us, you know, hey, I can give with great love and I don't need to charge you a penny. But in other cases, we need to know that sense of deservedness and said, this is what I am worth. As Kevin said, pay me.
But you know, I remember when I had the studio, when I had the gallery, not the studio, the gallery, and a representative from a UN organization. She works with international craft cottage industries. And so she came to the gallery looking for artists that she could represent. You know, so we got in a conversation and she noticed I was never ever talking about my work. I was talking about everybody else's work that I carry in the gallery, but not mine. And she very bluntly said, you know, why do you feel you have to be Mother Teresa to the art community?
Oh,
and it struck a chord.
Wow, that's a biggie, Carol.
Yeah, I had never thought of it that way. But when I think back, I had never put myself in the equation of deserving more. You know, yes, I was doing okay. I was designing stuff for people and they were loving it. But I was never ever charging what it was worth.
Yes. You know, one of the first things I remember hearing in this teaching and so on, that it is the Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. Right? But it comes back to your sense of, do I deserve the kingdom? If I'm gifted with the talent that I have as a goldsmith, as a pastry broker, a gourmet pastry, whatever, as a guitarist par excellence, as an attorney, in whatever field that we find we are gifted with. And you may find that now maybe at this stage of your life, you might say, I've always wanted to do X. You know, why can't I now venture into that area, learn about it and earn a living from it? You know, if it's the Father's good pleasure to give me the kingdom and I've been given this opportunity or I've been given this gift, what do I need to do to be at cause in making this gift bring me a viable income.
Yep. And it's never too late.
Never too late. So on that note, I would like to ask for requests for treatment. And so we go into that part of our service where we do our spiritual mind healing treatments. Can you just write them in the chat or say them?
Treatment for light.
So Yvonne, light. Thank you. So Carol, so Yvonne and Carol, light, and I think I saw another one.
Right action.
Right action for Dawn.
Also health for me, Sandy.
Health for Dawn.
And love.
And love. So we have light, right action, health, and love. Is there anything on the YouTube platform?
Not seeing anything on YouTube.
Okay, all right. So we will begin and with an affirmative prayer of light for Yvonne, for Carol Campbell, and for myself. Oh, that sweet song, God is light. God is light. The light surrounds me. In that light, I safely dwell. 'Tis above, beneath, within me. Light is mine, and all is well. God is light, pure light. God is light, sweet light. That light is mine, and all is well. Oh, we know that that light that we speak of is a light of clarity, wisdom, and intelligence. It is a light that is God, that is a light that shines ever so brightly, the center and the circumference of our being. This is a light that expresses in the lives of Yvonne, Carol, myself, and anyone else who is open and receptive to this affirmative prayer of light. We know that each one of us, as we open ourselves to the idea of light, we're guided and directed with regards to the decisions that we must take in our lives, the doors that we will open, the avenues that we will walk on, the choices that we must make. And we know that the light of wisdom shines on every single one, guiding us rightly to make choices that are in alignment with our highest good. And so I know that this is the truth about who we are in this moment. And as we embrace this truth, it allows us to rise in that space of light and understanding and a deeper sense of our spiritual awareness of who and whose we are. So I'm truly grateful for this presence of light in our lives. And I know that as I release these words, I release them to this law, the law that acts upon them and makes them our divine experience. I truly am grateful for the light in our lives, for the understanding that is flourishing within us, and the knowing that God is at the center of it all, and all is truly, truly well. And so I accept that all is so now, and so it joyfully is. Okay.
So it is.
It is.
Okay. And we now do an affirmative prayer of right action for Dawn. We know that the divine presence and power is expressing itself in and through and as each one of us. It is now manifest as Dawn in her life, in her affairs, as perfect right action. We know that this presence of right action is that which guides her in every aspect of her life, in her affairs. I know that it is that which stimulates the decision-making around any event and activity that is taking place in her life, in her affairs, in her business. And so I know that she makes choices that are guided by spirit. She engages with all in a way that is healthy and wholesome. And knowing that all the resources that she needs for her perfect expression are provided. And she has the wisdom to understand exactly what she must do, when she must do it, and in the right way and with the right persons. I know that right people show up for her in the right time, because it's all God in action. And there is nothing that can stop the perfect unfoldment of her life in a way that is aligned with her highest good. And so knowing this is the truth about her, I joyfully and lovingly and gratefully release these words now to the Lord, that which acts upon it and that which makes it her divine and perfect experience. I know that all this is so now, and so it awesomely is.
And so it is. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Steve?
Jennifer Williams is asking for treatment of health for a sister.
Okay. And what's her sister's name?
Not seeing any
Okay.
name.
Okay. Spirit knows who. Thank you, Stevie. Yeah. So this is an affirmative prayer of health for Dawn, for Jen's sister, Spirit knows her name, and for myself, and for anyone else who is open and receptive to these words. Oh, let us know. Oh, the life that we are is truly a gift. That life has been given to us. And that life is the essence of our being. And at the center of this life, we know that there is God and only God. And we know that this life manifests as perfect health. Health of mind, health of body, health of affairs. But I speak specifically for physical health, knowing that in the presence of life, that every single cell is vibrating with the essence of life. And it's a vibration which manifests in the lives of Dawn, Jen's sister, myself, and everyone else who is receptive. I know that that vibration is just expanding into every fiber, every tissue, every organ, every system, every function of this body temple. I know that everything is connected perfectly and powerfully. I know that health reverberates through every part of our physical bodies. And this health is that which presents itself and which dissipates any presence of dis-ease or discomfort. Anything unlike itself is just dissolved into nothingness. And what takes its place is a perfection and wholeness that is at the center and at the core of our very being. And so we affirm health, we embrace health, we live health, we make choices that facilitate and support excellent health. And so I know for Dawn and Jen's sister and myself and anyone else who is receptive, I know that health is our divine experience now. And we embrace it and we accept it. And so in this place of acceptance and in a spirit of gratitude for awesome health, I release these words, knowing truly and powerfully that they are now accomplished. This is the truth of who we are. I know it, believe it, accept it, and I am deeply, deeply grateful for it. I give thanks that this is so, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you.
Okay, okay, peace for Reverend Michael. And prayer of right action in the affairs of Pauline. Reverend, and we did right action already, but yeah, I'll do it again. Okay, so we've done help. We're gonna do love. No, I'll close with love. Let me do peace. Oh, we are truly grateful as we recognize the one mind, the one love, the one presence, the one power that is God. We know that this presence and power manifests as peace, that acceptance of the wholeness of life, the perfection of every single person on the planet, the knowing that we are one with each other. And in that sense of oneness, I know that there is peace because there is never anything to know other than the presence of God. The presence of God expressing its peace and harmony in the lives of each and every one of us. In the lives of each of us as individuals, peace expressing in our Temple of Light community, peace expressing across our beautiful island home, Jamaica, weaving its sweetness into the hearts of every single person. And so we rise and open our eyes to a new reality, that we are all one, and that peace is our new choice, so that we now live in harmony with each other. And I know that this presence of peace, as it encircles our island, it spreads to embrace our beautiful region, this awesome place we know as the Caribbean. And it extends out into the world. And I'm knowing the presence of peace is now expressing in any part of the world where there appears to be the condition of war or conflict. And I know that in spite of what the conditions may appear to be, we know the truth of God's love and God's goodness and wholeness and perfection expressing at the center and the circumference. And so I know that peace prevails now, and that whatever our world leaders need to do or whoever they need to be, we know that they are stimulated by the idea of this peace, and it becomes a powerful choice that makes a difference to our entire cosmos. And so I am grateful for the presence of peace spoken for Reverend Michael, and indeed expressing across the globe. And so in the spirit of gratitude for peace at the micro and macro levels, I release these words with deep gratitude, knowing that they are accomplished whereunto they are spoken. And I give thanks now that they are so, and so it is. Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing again, Yvonne, right action for Linton Knight. And I'll just include for Pauline, our affairs.
Thanks.
Okay. And so we know the master, the captain, the CEO expressing at the center of our lives, that one board chair that's large and in charge of everything, expressing in and through and as everyone we know as God. the divine, the present, that living Spirit Almighty that expresses perfectly in and through and as each one of us. And we know that this presence is now expressing as right action for Linton Knight and for Pauline R. And I know that their affairs are undergirded by the perfection, the wholeness, and the right action of the divine, expressing in every single aspect of their affairs. And knowing the choices they make are spirit-led. I know that the persons who are attracted to them are drawn to them because of the presence of spirit and the affirmation of the right persons that are perfect for their affairs right now. And so I know whether it is a business or their personal lives, whatever is required, Spirit knows. And they are led to contact and connect with all the right persons. I know that whatever resources are required, financial resources, material resources, human resources, everything just comes flowing. And so the right choices are made as they experience a plethora of circumstances that bring only their good. And so for this, I am grateful. I know that there's nothing that can stop the flow of Spirit's perfection and wholeness expressing in their lives now. There's God and only God. And so I am absolutely confident that through the power of this word, perfect right action is now unfolding for Pauline and for Linton. I know this is the truth. I accept it with all of my heart. I know that whatever is needed for them is provided and all is well. And so in this blessed assurance, I release these words now, knowing that they are fulfilled as the Lord acts upon them and brings it into their experience now. I'm truly grateful for the perfect outcome of these words, and I rejoice that all this is so now, and so it is. And so I'll close with an affirmative prayer of love for Dawn. Oh, and for all of us to know that we just open our hearts now to understand and appreciate that we were born out of love. We were born as expressions of love. We are placed on this planet to love. And that love is a part of our way and the way of our heart. And so I accept love for myself. I accept it for Vance, for Steve, for Carol Campbell. I accept it for Reverend Michael, for Yvonne, for Dawn, who has requested it, for Jeannie, for Carol Charlton, for Leighton, for Reverend Anne, and for every single person who is open and receptive to these words. And I know that that presence of love is now shining its perfect light within them. It is that which is allowing them to see the beauty and the perfection and the wholeness of every single person in their lives. It is that which knows that we are one, that there is no separation, that there is only God to know, God to experience, God to express as love, and all is well. We truly allow love to guide us, love to guide every decision, to guide every action, to guide the words that express from our lips, to guide the thoughts that we hold in our consciousness, to guide the responses that we make to each other, to open our hearts to understand each other. So we listen from that space of love. So we get where another is coming from. And we know that there is truly just one of us here. And it's God expressing as the many. And we are grateful. And so I'm truly grateful for the love in our lives. And that love I now know that expresses as the peace which I spoke of earlier. that peace which surrounds our planet. I know it is just grounded in a spirit of love, and that love which now embraces and encompasses our entire planet. And so from a spirit of love, I allow gratitude to just flow from my lips. The gratitude that comes with knowing that love is my eternal guide and the guide of each and every one of us. And so I release these words now, and truly I'm grateful for the power of love that is now manifest in multiple ways in our lives. I truly am grateful that all this is so now, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you.
Wow. And thank you all for being part of this wonderful experience. I need to go back to basics. Friends, just want to share with you a little bit of the activities that are taking place in our beautiful community. But I don't know, this community is just my heartbeat, you know. And so Reverend John starts off on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with his quiet moments in the garden. I'm afraid that if you were to do it at 11 o'clock at night, I would be more inclined to be part of it than at 6 in the morning. But it's a wonderful labor of love, and I really invite you to join him at 6 a.m. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for quiet moments in the garden. And of course, that little pick-me-up at midday with Reverend Anne as she shares with you Noon Bites and Prayer Power this week, and every Thursday at 6 o'clock, except for our last Thursday when we have Prayer Power at 5. We invite you to just come and be lifted up by the wonderful transformative power of God's love, light, peace, and joy. And of course, there's a Zoom link, and it can be found on your Facebook page. Wow, we've been about what, 4 weeks into our book study on You Were Born Rich with Reverend Michelle. It has been extraordinary for those of us who are participating. I'm wondering, are we still open to, I'm sorry, Reverend Michelle isn't here, but I'm wondering if we're still open to participants. I think they would have to read the book to catch up, but I'm sure if you still want to come on along. It's a Thursday at 11:30 to 1:30. And it's really training our prosperity consciousness. And I've seen amazing results so far. That's with Reverend Michelle on a Thursday from 1:30 from 11:30 to 1:30, and it is live and direct at the temple. Wow. I know that the class on a Thursday at 7 continues, Ignite Your Life with Bible Wisdom. So we invite you to join Practitioner Vance, and I believe Reverend Sonia, Practitioner Steve, on this exciting journey of renewing the mind and transforming the soul. That's Thursdays at 7 to 9, and that started on September 7th. I will be going on for a few more weeks. Okay. And wow, now this is something I'm looking forward to. It's a Taizé service, a service in the tradition of Taizé. And it will involve music and scripture and candlelight and silence, a really deeply spiritual experience. And this is going to be on Wednesday, the 22nd of November. That's next week, Wednesday, at the temple. And so we invite you to come and bring a friend to enjoy and participate in this awesome experience, a service in the tradition of Taizé. This Sunday, friends, we have Reverend Michelle live and direct at our temple for our Sunday service. We have our live streaming. So do make it out this Sunday morning to listen to another powerful message from Reverend Michelle, our senior minister. And of course, next week, Tuesday, we have another spiritual mind healing service. Who is speaking next Tuesday? That is the 21st. Who will be up next Tuesday? Have any idea? If not, we know that it's going to be another powerful experience. So we do invite you to participate. And friends, our ministry grows and expands because of you, because of your love, because of your support, because of you sharing your time, talent, and treasure with us, but specifically your treasure. We're grateful for it. So if you feel moved to support our ministry, you can feel free to donate at donate.templeoflightcsl.org. And we thank you for your love, your generosity, and helping us to be a beacon of light in the world. Oh, next week will be Dr. Tamu Davidson for our Spiritual Mind Healing Service. Thank you for that, Steve. And so as you are about to press that donate button, we can say together our love offering blessing. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive, be thou fruitful, increase and multiply. Bless, prosper, and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs. Thank you, Father, and so it is. And now we say together the prayer of our center. The Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community, from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate to touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes into contact with it in any way. The light of the Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed, and to God be the honor and the glory forever. And together, let us do our prayer of Jamaica. The radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within the hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established. And so it is. Friends, we've come to the end of another Spiritual Mind Healing service. I acknowledge each of you who chose to be here this evening. I trust that you embraced what we talked about, and you will manifest it. You'll see how it manifests in your life as you become confidently, powerfully at cause to the events and the outcomes of your life. And so I invite you now to join me as we do our closing affirmative prayer. Let us know that that one which brought us here this evening is that one which takes us to our respective destinations. It is that one which is the guide, the source, the substance, that which is at the center circumference of our entire being. We truly are grateful for this gathering. We are truly grateful for the conversation. And I'm knowing that as we go from this place to our respective destinations, we take with us all the presence, all the power, all the glory, all the awesomeness that is God. And we allow ourselves to be always guided and uplifted, inspired by this presence. I'm truly grateful now as I release these words and give thanks for the blessing that comes to me, through me, and as each and every single one of us, both within the sound of my voice and anyone who is open and receptive to these words. And so I give thanks that all this is so now, and so it joyfully is. Thank you very much for being a part of this experience, and we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy.